Welcome to the Burgundy Gold Knuckleheads podcast. As always, sitting right over there, wearing his burgundy and gold as expected, my main man, Reggie. What's going on, Reg?
Hey, man, I always got to represent, dog.
Absolutely.
As the great Doc Walker say, we burgundy gold till our blood turns cold.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm always gonna represent, man. But in honor of all of the people on Twitter that are fighting over the team name again, I took it back, man. I took it back. I decided to pull out the old hat that was around for a very brief time. So for those that are not on YouTube, you can see, you can hear, I'll let you know that I'm wearing the old WFT hat, the Washington football team. It was a name that was given.
Is that where you want to go, Reg? Is that breaking news that you want to go to back to the Washington football team?
No, man. Listen.
Okay.
No, I'm not even gonna get into that, man. I think it's
out there for everybody.
Because I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid that people are arguing over the team name again. I mean, the franchise has turned around. We have a new ownership. We got great GM, great coaching staff. We got what we believe is a franchise quarterback, and people are still out here talking about the name, a rebrand, and jersey numbers. It's like, where the hell are your priorities, man? We trying to get this thing turned around and be a hell of a team on the field, and you worried about something stupid like that. But that's just me. But on the business at hand, man, I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. And please, as always, as we ask you guys to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And we want to appreciate all those that have subscribed. And please continue to tell people about us, man. We enjoy doing this. We like talking about it, as you can tell. And we like to get into some things, not too controversial, but we do. We touch on them a little bit, like the stupid jersey numbers releasing, and of course the team name that we have no control over, but people arguing and fighting on Twitter about. Stupid.
And I want to move away from the team name, but it's funny because I'll see things and people say, man, the only team name I want them to change it to was the Warriors, and if it's not that, all of them are stupid. Then you hear for the next one, for the Commanders. Then you hear people for Red Bull. I mean, everybody has the little fraction that they want to go. It's and you and I don't get into it, but man, there's a bunch of whiny, cryny.
Boy,
I mean,
you damn right. They're just fussing and fighting and complaining about it. And then you got those dummies that keep talking about the name Redskins. It's like it's not coming back.
Well, they're idiots. I mean, let me just go ahead and say
one thing I can guarantee you.
If you're a listener, okay, we might lose one listener here, but most of the people that listen to us got some kind of head on their shoulders, right? But if you're just coming across here and if you honestly think it's ever going to go back to the Washington Redskins, let me step into the camera here. You're an idiot. All right. All right. That's if you see it on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, zoomed in and saw my big old knucklehead ugly face, it's not going back.
Listen, there's two things I can guarantee you. The name is not going back to Redskins, and they're not going to put the Indian back on the helmet. Okay?
Correct.
It's just not going to happen. Despite how much you want it, despite you want to hold out, you're never going to support the team. You're never going to buy merchandise because you think Commanders suck and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. You can keep believing all of those things. But one thing is not going to happen is the name Redskins, and the Indian is not coming back. Gone. Well, so whatever merchandise and product you got, you better keep it because that's all you're going to see.
Yeah. You're going to have a lifetime of disappointment when it comes to that. And as we're talking, I mean, we came on the podcast. Granted, we'll talk about anything that's related to the Burgundy and Gold, but getting ready to start minicamp, right? The rookie minicamp is coming up, and we kind of wanted to touch base on that. And then right after the rookie minicamp, I'm saying minicamp, but it's actually the rookie minicamp, rookie and the unrestricted free agent signings as well, the draftees. Right after that,
on the 10th, week, though, right? The rookie minicamp and undrafted guys, that's on the 10th. So Friday, I think.
I believe so. Yes, 10th, 11th,
10th to the 12th.
Yeah. And then right after that, on the 15th, Wednesday, will be the NFL is going to be releasing the schedule. So come if that's the 15th, on the 13th, the 14th, things will start leaking out, right? You'll know 20 games starting out. You'll know who's going overseas. You'll know the first Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night type game. You might know somebody that's playing on a Christmas Eve or Thanksgiving games or something like that. Those kinds of games are all going to come rolling out. You might not know who you're playing week 5 on a generic Sunday, but things start rolling out.
Yeah, and that's cool. At this point, I just want to get the schedule so I can determine what games we're going to attend. And clearly we want to do the home opener. We'll probably do that, and then of course a few road games. But just release the schedule, man, so we can go and make some plans.
Yeah, if Reggie's picking whatever team that you play, you get to pick who we play week 1 at home. Who you picking? Who do you want to go up against?
Oh man, somebody asked that question on Twitter, and to be honest, I don't care. I mean, I don't have
it. You're booking it.
Who we play at home week 1?
You get to pick. You get first pick, just like fantasy football. You get to pick week 1 schedule at home. Who you taking?
Man, when I tell you I don't care, I truly don't care. But you're going to make me pick one. Let's go with, because I believe this is going to be a primetime game anyway. So let's go with the Chicago game where we can, one, redeem ourselves from the debacle that was on primetime Thursday night last season and redeem ourselves from that. Where DJ Moore seemed like he got 500 yards receiving on us. And I'd say that would be the matchup with Caleb Williams and Jake Daniels. So let's just kick it right out of the gate.
Number 2 draft pick.
Yeah, just come right out the gate and go with the number 1, number 2, two picks in the draft. But I think that's going to be a primetime game.
Yeah,
it's one of my bold predictions, Ken.
The only kind of asterisk I put on that is what if. And I think the what if would be maybe more so in Washington. What if they both don't start opening day?
Man, they start. Come on, stop that.
I think so. But just what if? That's the only downside.
They're gonna start.
Yeah.
Even
that'd be a good game. I agree. That'd be a good game, a good matchup. Be able to talk about everything. But a lot of the games this year, I think, are going to match up that way. There's a lot of storylines for Washington, whether, both times we play the Cowboys, especially the first time, Dan Quinn. When we play Atlanta, it's going to be Kirk Cousins. When we play Arizona, Kingsbury connection there. So there's a handful of games this year that have that storyline.
We play the Titans. So there'll be Marcus Mariota, even though he's not playing, but
right.
He's on the team. I think that's really it. The big connections. Otherwise, it's just some coaches on the staff that for some teams that we play. But man, I think Jayden will start. I think he was asked about it on that Keyshawn Johnson interview. I don't know if anyone has seen that. He did about a 50-minute interview with Keyshawn Johnson, and also known as Meeshawn, because that guy can't give an interview or ask people questions without talking about himself. It's always about him and what he did and what it was like for him. But he asked Jayden if he thought that he'd start. And, Jayden just said, when I'm ready, I'll start. He made mention that the team told him that, when he's ready, he'll be out there. And Keyshawn was trying to get him to say that being the number 2 pick, no matter what, he was going to start. But Jayden's smart enough. He didn't take the bait. Different personalities of those two gentlemen. And, it was a decent interview. Keyshawn. I'll be honest with you. The only reason I listened to it is because he was interviewing Jake Daniels. If he wasn't interviewing Jake Daniels, I wouldn't have tuned in. I don't care for the guy. So
and he doesn't do a good interview. right? He really doesn't.
Right.
It was promoted. It came as I was looking through different things. It came across on YouTube. For those that are wondering, should you go listen to it? If you really, really, really want to hear something that's not going to be earth shattering, go ahead and listen to it. But if you don't listen to it, I promise you're not missing out on anything. You're better off listening to a past episode of the Burgundy Gold Knuckleheads podcast.
For sure. But Jayton just gave a couple nuggets, nothing major. I mean, he didn't have a problem. I'll say you a couple of minutes. He didn't have a problem with the Top Golf incident. He said that he had worked in the off season and in some past off season and some training with a lot of those guys. So he already knew those guys. He knew most
of them, yeah.
He said it just felt like a recruiting trip almost. He says, but it was cool. He had no problem with it. Keyshawn talked about the air raid. He wasn't a big fan of Cliff Kingsbury and the air raid offense. And Jayton said he's not worried about it. It's not a whole lot of that. Then he did the old man, get off my lawn type take when Jayton talked about the virtual reality stuff that he used to better his game. And Keyshawn, I don't like that. I wouldn't do that. And it's not virtual. It's real reality when the guy's coming at you. Well, no shit, Keyshawn. I mean, he knows that. I mean, he did when he's at LSU. I'm pretty sure he knew. He's smart enough to know that virtual reality is not real reality. I mean, but it's a tool that he has at his disposal that he used to get better as a passer.
Right.
But you got to talk about you. Nobody cares about you, Keyshawn. You don't play anymore. But anyway, I'll get off.
All you heard about was Keyshawn as a rookie, Keyshawn in college, Keyshawn contract, Keyshawn bought this for his mom. It was at least, if not more, at least 50% Keyshawn and 50% Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, I'm sorry. And it might not have been 50-50, to be honest with you. What was I going to say? The only other thing that they talked about on that I've seen a little bit on Twitter, and I'm going to go ahead and be in the category that I really don't care about this, but people are, at least they got nothing to talk about this time of year, right? So you got to talk about something. I think that's part of it when we talk about name changes and things like that. Is what number is Jaden Daniels going to wear? Right now, it is, well, in the past, he's always worn number 5, but that is Tress Way's number, the player with the longest tenure with Washington, Pro Bowl punter. Yes, he's a punter, but team captain, and
well liked. And well liked,
yes, well respected, even throughout the league. I mean, he's not just a kicker. He does bring something to the team. He does bring an attitude to the team. Hard to believe that you would think a kicker does that, but whenever you see anything with the team, training camp or whatever, he's very well respected. Considering he's a punter, he's very well respected on the team.
Because we don't have any good players, Ken. When your punter's one of your best players, that means you don't have a lot of great players. That's
at the bar we've said for a few years he's consistently our MVP, right?
Correct. But yeah, the whole Jayden Daniels number thing, I don't care, man. It's like, who cares? I mean, seriously, whatever number
there really should only be one person that cares.
Whenever that number gets picked, people still gonna buy the jersey. I don't care. But the fact that people are talking about this kind of stuff is because there's nothing else to talk about. I would agree with that. But can they find something else to talk about? It's the same crap over and over. It's the same crap over and over. But
again, in the long run, I guess this is kind of good because we don't have all kinds of turmoil, right? If this is as bad as the talk it gets, go back 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. Man, somebody was getting arrested. Somebody on the team. There was some kind of turmoil of something. So if this is as bad as it gets, I think it's wasteful. But outside of Jaden Daniels, nobody cares about number 5, right? Trust Way is like, it's mine. He could tell you tell him that it's mine. Go pick another number. There's another, a bunch of other numbers, and he picks another number, and conversation's over. So what?
But here's the thing, Ken. We have new ownership. We have new GMs. We got new head coaches, franchise quarterback, and y'all want to talk about jersey numbers? Come on, man. It's just ridiculous talk to me. But Tress is the kind of guy, he has said before on his own personal podcast, when it comes to jersey numbers and things of that nature, he's not tied to them. He recognizes where he stands on the team, meaning he's viewed as just a punter. But he's always said that if he needs to give up the number, he probably doesn't care. What I suspect is going to happen is, it would not surprise me, I should say, if Tress asks Jayton if he wants the number. And either way, Jayton will end up with the number, and I think Jayton will graciously donate some money to Tress's foundation of some sort, and Tress will probably be just as fine with whatever amount that is. He probably is going to willingly give that number up. So people making a big to do about nothing. And hell, for all they know, Jayton Daniels might not even care about the number 5.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah. Well, let's pick up and move towards the rookie mini camp. This is a mandatory camp. There was a camp a couple weeks ago, end of April, that was a voluntary camp. But
it was just where the veterans was reporting back for workouts.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So
Free
again,
agents,
we've got the 9 draft picks that we had, along with, I don't know how many unrestricted, what do you call it? Undrafted rookies that were signed, but it was a handful.
It's between 10 and 13. I don't remember the exact number.
Yeah. So as they come in, what do you see them doing? Because clearly there's not going to be enough to be able to run 11 on 11, because they don't have, they don't have every position covered as far as rookies and everything. But what do you see? What do you see them doing in minicamp?
Well, I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I think part of the excitement is it will be our first chance and our first glimpse to see our rookies together, right? The media will have access to them, I think, one day. So they will report back to us what they are seeing. So it gives us fans some behind the scenes glimpse into what's going on, right? They're going to throw the ball. They're going to run. And, clearly they don't know the playbook. So there's not a lot going to be happening, but it would signify the new kids on the block, if you will, or officially in the building. And so, the football season will start to kind of slowly churn a little bit. And this is a big step in that process. Obviously, we want all these guys to try to get through the couple days here healthy. We don't want any major injuries to come out of this, because it has happened with teams before.
Sure.
But just seeing Jayton Daniels out there, just seeing Johnny Newton and Ben Sinad and Brandon Coleman and all these guys, Luke McCaffrey, just in the building, just running around, officially being Commanders, right? That's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying, you mentioned, because my number one thing here was stay healthy, right? If you tweak something, we can live with that. I don't want any season-ending, long-term injuries. I want everybody, not only rookies but veterans, to be available week 1.
Yes.
And then I think what they, for those that haven't really thought about rookie mini camp, it's learning the lingo, right? They know how to run plays. They know how to run outs. They know how to, run this assortment of plays, but it's learning the language that, from an offensive perspective, of what Cliff Kingsbury calls it, right? He doesn't just say, down and out, 5 and out. This isn't backyard pickup football. They have verbiage that they're going to use, whether it's blocking, whether it's The linebackers getting used to making calls or listening to calls being made and knowing what they're supposed to do based off of that call. Same thing again on the offense. And so they're going to be learning those basic ideas and the basic lingo. I'm sure if not more time is spent in the inside, looking at film, looking at playbooks, and walking through and diagramming so everybody understands, some basic 5 to 10 concepts, and then later on they'll build off of those 5 or 10 concepts or those 5 or 10 plays, everything that is their base, and then they build and expand off of that.
But also, for these guys, it'll be their first step into being a professional, get the lay of the land, the building, just what it's like to be a commander from day to day. So they'll be getting their feet wet from that perspective. Is there, you can say, you're one guy outside of Jayden Daniels? I think Jayden Daniels is the obvious. So outside of Jayden Daniels, is there one guy that you're most looking forward to hearing about or seeing as mini camp gets underway?
I think when I look at our team, one of the biggest holes that we have as we're going into the draft and free agency is also ends up being the person that I'm interested in. You're really not going to see it off the mini camp, but when preseason starts and you start seeing plays and I hear about the person, I'm interested in our rookie tight end. I want to see what he's going to do, how he's going to fit in. Because I think with Cliff Kingsbury, he's going to be an integral part. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more two tight end sets. And again, I would love for him to actually end up being a weapon on this team. We haven't had a weapon, what I would call a true weapon at tight end in a number of years.
I think he's going to be.
Yeah, I think so too. I've got a good feel for the guy, but that's where I'm interested to see how quickly he picks up and becomes a piece of the offense.
Now, the tight end Benson Knott was my number 2 most intriguing guy that I was looking forward to coming out of camp. My number 1, Ken, is going to be Mr. Brandon Coleman, the tackle / guard out of TCU, because again, there is a somewhat of a question mark. I mean, I think more people are more concerned about it than I am, but there's clearly a need to find the long-term stability. I'm okay with Cornelius Lucas, but I know he's not the long-term solution. So Brandon Coleman was drafted, and so I'm looking to see his development because, again, he played a lot of guard, but he also played some tackle at TCU. But I think Washington drafted him to convert him or have him be a full-time tackle. I guess I should say convert him, but to be full-time tackle. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a situation where we see him develop and we go, okay, now we see why, and this is why they drafted him to be the replacement. Because I don't want this to be the Brandon Sheriff situation all over again, where they drafted him out of college as a guard, put him at right tackle, and he struggled, and so they were forced to move him back. So they ended up using the number 4 pick on a guard.
Right.
And so so I hope that
Pro Bowl guard, though. Pro Bowl guard. Typically you don't think about that having it, but he was an anchor. So I would prefer to have an anchor at tackle. But
I understand, but he wasn't drafted to be guard. He was drafted to be tackle. And that was supposed to solidify the edge, and it didn't work out. So we had to go out and get somebody else on the edge.
Right.
But in this case, Brandon Coleman, we already have Cosme at right guard. You have Algretti, I think is how you pronounce it, and whoever else on the roster already kind of in the guard position. So we don't need any more guards. We need some guys who can develop and be swing tackle or that anchor at the left tackle. So I'm hoping that Brandon Coleman can show everybody why they drafted him and say, hey, listen, you guys can stop looking. I'm your guy for the next 8 to 10 years on the left side. So,
oh yeah, if he can take over, especially if he can take over without a doubt and be, just take the job, not even give it to him, just take the job. That's a good sign for Washington for a number of years.
yeah, yeah. Because I think
Um,
again, everybody's looking forward to Jaden Daniels, but that kid's not gonna. He's gonna wear the red jersey. He's not gonna be touched. I mean, he's gonna be out there just throwing the ball against air and stuff, and then we won't see how he's truly looking probably until to training camp.
yeah,
So
and even when we go to the mandatory mini camps in mid June, if these aren't open to the media, which most of these I don't think are,
they get like one day.
Yeah, they get
kind of come
a
in and
little
see
part
stuff.
here and there, but the coach is going to say nothing but good stuff, right? They're not going to say, man, he looks bad. It's going to be building. It's going to be positivity. So I only say that to not get hung up on coach talk, right? Kind of pump the brakes a little bit if one of these coaches start getting extra happy about a certain player. Hey, I'm happy that the player is doing well, but is he really doing that well? Or is this just coach talk and self promotion? We look, you never hear up until week one about all the holes that we have coming from the coaches. The coaches and players don't tell you about how, man, people aren't living up to their contract. They're not living up to their draft pick. You don't hear that. So again, I'm probably throwing some cold water on people that are listening, but I'm just trying to do a reality check because, opening day, I'm going to be excited and I'm going to expect a win, right? I want to win. I'm going to expect a win. I'm going to be cheering for a win. But this is a very young team. It's a new team. I think I mentioned Washington has had the most already, has had the most turnover from player personnel of any team in the NFL this year. Between the 2023 and the 2024 season. And we still may end up signing a couple people. We've got money to do it. So as players get cut from other teams in preseason, don't be surprised if we have a couple more players on our team that we cut a player or two because there's somebody better and we have the money to bring them in. So a lot of change, and it takes time for all that change to gel.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely going to bring in some more players, right? I think that's a given. And the fact that the roster has turned over as much as it has, I'm not totally shocked, and it shouldn't be a big shock to a lot of people. I mean, we finished with only 4 wins last year, and when you got a new staff come in, they're evaluating some guys, and it just goes to show you just how empty the cupboard was, man, because they didn't sign a lot of our guys. They didn't sign a lot of those returning players.
And I was just about to say, I mean, as free agency started and we didn't know who we're keeping, who we might be resigning. And I'm not talking about free agency, the day of free agency. I'm talking 2 or 3 weeks before when there's still speculation. Man, you heard so much, man, we got to sign Fuller. Oh, we got to sign Cam Curl. Oh man. Now that we've signed our players and we've had our draft, I don't hear anybody complaining, man, I can't believe we don't have Fuller. I can't believe we let Cam. Those conversations are gone, right? Because we see real quick that the players that we've brought in and the people that we've drafted, we expect them to be as good or better, right? If you pause and look at it, we've upgraded pretty much everywhere, right? Our strongest spot on the team, defensive tackle, we went and addressed that as well, right?
We did.
There was no area that Washington leadership didn't address, period.
Man, stop. You get me excited again, man. Stop now. I'm trying to always keep my excitement on the wraps right now. And we're just now in May. Right? We got a long way to go between now and the opening weekend. But so I don't want to get too hyped, man, because I understand we got a young team. I understand we got new coaches. I understand we got a rookie quarterback and all that. But if everything hits the way we want it to hit, man, with all the free agent signings and the draft picks, man, this team is gonna make some noise early and often. But again, Vegas has us at projected at 6.5 wins. I don't know how they can do that. I don't know how they can do that when they haven't seen us line up yet. But that's what they
did
got.
It well. They did it well last year.
They did,
right? It was, for those that didn't know, it was 6.5 last year also. And man, if you took the bets just off of Commanders fans, man, Vegas collected a whole lot of money, because I heard probably 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20 that said to take the under. 90% said the over.
Listen, I'm not a gambling man, but I sure as hell would have bet some money there. Like 6.5.
Yeah.
Man, what an insult.
It was a good thing Reggie didn't live close to Vegas, because
what an insult.
Man, he would have been put that car in overdrive and gotten there, man.
Listen, that's facts. If I lived where I could have made a bet in Vegas, I would have bet that we was gonna get over 6.5 wins. I know I would have.
I understand. So, and
but anyway, what? We'll get into all that.
And you know what? He better not go to Vegas before this season, because he'll make that same bet this year. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now.
I'm gonna wait, man. I need to see training camp. I need to see a lot more before. There's too many changes. Too many.
I'm making a bold prediction. I'm making a bold prediction. Actually, it's not even bold. It's an easy prediction. Reggie will take the over on 6.5.
Okay, maybe not, sir. maybe not. But
that's okay. You feel how you feel, right?
That's fine.
I can't knock you for that.
I need to see how training camp's going to go. I need to see how Jayton's going to be looking. I need to see how Cliff is doing something. I just need to see, man. And I need to see how the schedule's going to line up too. So, but we'll get into all that. We'll get into all the predictions and all that kind of stuff later.
And I did also look, just a little nugget here. I did look at strength of schedule. We're sitting right about in the middle. I think we're 16th. It seems like for the last few years we're like really high or really low. Towards the top or towards the bottom on strength of schedule. We're right square in the middle. So maybe that's a good sign. Why it's a good sign, I don't know, but I'm just got to throw something out there that maybe that kind of is a level, what I would call a level schedule, and go
still got to play the games, Doc.
Yep.
Still got to play the game. So we'll see, man. But that's all I got, man. Just kind of a quick a take, I guess, if you will, on rookie mini camp that's coming up in the next day or two, and looking to hear some good things out of there. Out of there from all of our beat reporters and local reporters out there. So
and then when the schedule comes out next week, we'll also touch base on that. We'll kind of have a quick podcast just talking about some highlights of games here and there. Maybe we've got a streak of away games or streak of home games or overseas game. I hope we don't have a Thanksgiving game. I don't know about everybody else, but man, I hate Thanksgiving games. I don't like it.
I don't like it either, because we always play the Cowboys, and I'm just like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but well, we shall see. We shall see. But until next time.
As always, y'all, appreciate you tuning in, and peace out.
Peace out, knuckleheads.